I'm Gino Tani in Tokyo. The Lebanon-based Shia Muslim group Hezbollah says it has begun a major attack on neighboring Israel. It says the move is to retaliate for the killing of one of its senior commanders by an Israeli airstrike in Beirut in July. The group has fired more than 320 rockets toward Israel early Sunday. It has been showing solidarity with Hamas throughout the conflict in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military announced earlier that it had carried out airstrikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon.
The IDF identified Hezbollah terrorist organization preparing to fire missiles, rockets towards Israeli territory. In a self-defense act to remove these threats, the IDF is striking terror targets in Lebanon.
Israeli forces are calling on residents of northern Israel to be vigilant. An international airport in central Israel was temporarily closed. Latest developments in the Middle East could affect ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas. The participants in talks in Egypt reportedly include representatives from the U.S., Israel, and Qatar. Hamas has announced it will send a delegation. Israeli media report talks in Cairo will bring together CIA Director William Burns and Mossad Director David Barney. The Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani is also expected to participate. In previous negotiations, Israel insisted that even after a ceasefire, it would keep troops at strategic locations on the border between Egypt and Gaza. But U.S. media say Israel has offered the compromise of moving troops a certain distance away from the border. Palestinian media report Israeli attacks on Saturday killed 50 civilians in Gaza. Mediators are expected to step up efforts to bridge gaps that remain between Israel and Hamas regarding a deal. It has been 2.5 years since Russia began its invasion of Ukraine. Now a drone arms race is intensifying between the two countries. Ukraine marked the anniversary of its independence from the former Soviet Union on Saturday. Aerial and maritime drones were on display in the Ukrainian capital. President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the use of a new weapon in a speech for Independence Day.
A new type of drone weapon made in Ukraine has been used successfully in combat for the first time. This is a new means of retaliation against invaders.
Ukrainian forces created a new division this year for aerial and maritime drones. They plan to further boost production. Meanwhile, Russia's public and private sectors are working together to make drones. Russia has reportedly been using Iranian-made models in Ukraine, but domestically produced drones were featured at this international trade fair in Russia. This company used to make automobile parts, but is now developing drones.
Russian-made drones can be assembled over 10 times more quickly than Iranian types. Their engine performance is totally different.
Russians are also being trained to operate drones. NHK was allowed to film the training on condition it did not reveal the location or other details. The operators wear goggles to control the first-person view or FPV drones. Each one costs about $350. They are said to be capable of destroying tanks.
Drones can launch attacks from any angle and target the enemy's weak points.
Russian Defense Minister Malolos has said 4,000 FPV drones are being supplied to the military per day. The suspect in a deadly dice attack in Germany is in custody. The incident in the city of Solingen on Friday left 3 people dead and 8 injured. The state government of North Rhine-Westphalia made the announcement late Saturday. German media outlets report the suspect is a 26-year-old man from Syria who turned himself in to the police. The attack came during a festival celebrating the 650th anniversary of the city's founding. Police have detained 2 other people they believe are connected to the attack. The Amak news agency, which is linked to the Islamic State militant group, reported that a soldier with the group carried out the operation as revenge for Muslims in Palestine and elsewhere. It is not yet clear whether the three suspects are actually linked to the militant group. 7 years have passed since Rohingya minority Muslims fled clashes in Myanmar between militants and government forces. Many of them are still in camps in Bangladesh. On August 25th, 2017, Rohingya militants attacked police and military facilities in Myanmar's western state of Rakhine. In the resulting chaos, over 700,000 Rohingya crossed into neighboring Bangladesh. Fighting continues now in Myanmar between the military and ethnic minority armed forces, leaving many residents dead or displaced. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees estimated at the end of April that there were 980,000 Rohingya in Bangladesh, including those who fled Myanmar before the mass exodus. It is not clear if they will be able to return to Myanmar, and supporting their stay in camps is a humanitarian challenge. The head of Bangladesh's interim government, Mohammed Yunus, says the country will continue its support, but he also stresses that for the Rohingya people to eventually return to Myanmar, sustained efforts are needed from the international community.